Hello everyone, Dan of 14th Prime here, bringing you a Masterpiece series Transformers Thundercracker review, MP-11T. Not sure why it's not TC, considering Skywarp was SW, but that's what they named it. It's the very well used MP-11 mold with, of course, the Thundercracker light blue paint scheme from Takara Tomy. So here's the front of the box. Pretty typical Seeker sort of box and graphics. You've got the jet mode there, and then, which is pretty standard, and then the bop mode that has his own unique pose there. Side of the box, Transformers Masterpiece with the MP-11T Destron Warrior Thundercracker. All kinds of good stuff on the back that you can't read, but it's got pictures. And one thing that I like, I want to get them open, but you know, it's looked like some nice paint here, rockets on the inside there. Which wasn't the case with Skywarp, so looking forward to see if that is indeed the case. Kind of usual Seeker stuff there. More of the same on the side. That's the top of the box. Kind of an odd, like, boxing pose. I don't know what that is. But pretty cool just to have it on the front, or the top. And here we're back to the front of the box. So let's get this guy open and check him out. I'll just show you the tray quickly as far as what's in the box. He comes robot mode packaged, just like Skywarp did. And he's got just a little guy here who's kind of all orange, which is a little bit odd. The Skywarp guy was more like a regular guy, you know, kind of white coat around him and just like black pants and stuff. And Skywarp packaging also had the Megatron extra accessory gun there, which Thundercracker does not have. So I believe this guy is Takara Tomy Mall exclusive, if I recall, so difficult to get, I think, in Asia, but he's kind of all over the US retail sites, whereas Skywarp was a Asia Hasbro exclusive. Similar thing, I think, limited in terms of Asia production availability, but pretty widely available here in the West. A couple other things to show you quickly here. He comes with the coin Thundercracker, so it's kind of the fold out thing, and there's the nice coin. So that came with mine, at least, which came from TF Source. And then instructions and kind of little collector card there. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this stuff, but just so you know it's there. And very briefly here, here's the little guys. The guy on the left is the one that came with Thundercracker. Again, he's kind of this translucent orange. And the guy on the right is the guy that came with Skywarp, which looks a little bit more like an actual person, if you care. But obviously, this is not a big deal. So here he is, guys. The final piece of our Takara MP-11 molded Seeker collection, Thundercracker. He's looking really good out of the box, and I was just kind of comparing and contrasting him to Skywarp from a paint app perspective. And you know, he looks good. They didn't quite do as much detailing as the Skywarp. Skywarp had some pinstriping kind of around the vents here in purple. Also had some silver striping kind of on top of the shoulder and on the forearm. And also up on the wings, they had some accents, which some people liked and others didn't. I liked them a lot. Skywarp had some yellow accents and red here on the tail fins, which I thought was pretty cool for when he was in jet mode. But definitely, let's just go ahead and check what this guy does have, which is super cool. Is the rockets are painted red on the tips. That makes a huge difference. On Skywarp, it was all silver under there, and I hated that. So that looks great there. Probably the only other thing is the vents inside are a dark gray, almost black, whereas Skywarp's were silver, just like the rest of the pieces. So they're trading off some paint apps in terms of where they're putting the details. It would be nice if we could get one figure that kind of had it all together like that, but they continue to kind of make trade-offs across the figures, and we can't quite get them all together. But some nice accents here and some nice unique paint apps versus the other Seekers. So glad to see that. I'll give you just a little bit of a closer pan up here from the bottom up, just so you can see up close. And we'll kind of check quality stuff too. while we go. One thing I'm noticing on the legs here is, kind of the injection mold kind of sprue marks there on the shins. I see them down here kind of behind on the fins as well. So they're there, but it's to be expected. You're going to get some of that there on the hip flaps as well. And the good thing is you really have to kind of look for those things to notice them. Otherwise, they really just kind of blend in if you just take a step back and look at the figure as a whole. So they will be there. It's not a big deal. And here, if we just go ahead and just give you the full on of the rockets there. Again, that looks really nice. I mean, simple paint app, but I think it makes a lot of difference for that detailing inside the chest to make the rockets pop and actually look like rockets. I also like that they painted the insides of the vents a different color here, that darker gray. That looks good. I'll give you a quick shot of the head sculpt here. He's got the spring-loaded side of the head, just like Skywarp did for transformation. Pretty standard Seeker head, right? I mean, they all look the same. A couple other paint app differences I noted as I was just comparing the two one final time. Skywarp had this kind of top of the neck area painted silver, like the chest and other areas, which looks pretty nice on the figure, though you don't really notice it unless you're standing over it. And then if you go below, again, these are kind of like high and low things to see, so they're not obvious straight on. But if you go below here, underneath kind of the knee area, in Skywarp, that's like the same silver that you find on his foot. And they've gone darker there on Thundercracker, and it matches more of that accent right there, which is fine. I'm just noticing little differences here. And I will say on Skywarp, all the sprues and things, just because he's black, were much harder to see. They hit much better with black. They're still there. The blue definitely makes those more noticeable. Here's the back of the figure. The main thing that pops is he actually has no Decepticon logos on the back of his wings. Skywarp had logos that were, upside down facing. Thundercracker is logoless. One other thing I'm noticing on this guy is all the screws are silver. Obviously on Skywarp they were all black and that blended perfectly. I'm just not so sure that maybe black wouldn't have been better here as well. I don't know, those silver screws in the back, and there's a couple in the front, just really kind of pop because they're all bright and shiny. Maybe something just like black or dull gray would have been a little more discreet in terms of especially all those attachment points on the back of the wing there. My eye just keeps going to those. So let's go and take a closer look. So again, here we'll just do a quick pan up so you can take a look. Pretty standard Seeker stuff. He's got the feet down there. They've done a nice job putting some paint apps on the feet, on the rocket engines there. That's where you can start to see those screws I was mentioning. And the lack of Decepticon emblems as well. And finally here, I'll just give you one side view, give you a shot of the left side, just so you can see how things look with the fins kicking out the back, kind of the thickness. If you're familiar with the Seekers, this isn't a big deal. You're used to this, but just for those that haven't seen it, I feel like I've been pointing out a lot of differences with Skywarp or nitpicking a little bit here, but he's a sharp looking figure. I think they've done a really nice job with this guy. So here I've got the two Seekers, Skywarp and Thundercracker, side by side. I actually don't have Starscream. And the final thing I noticed, I know I'm doing a lot of comparing and contrasting, which maybe is irrelevant for a lot of folks, but it's always interesting, I think, how they do the different Seekers, because it's one mold, yet they continue to issue these guys and just not make them all uniform and do little twists and turns with them. So one thing I hate about Skywarp is that piece of plastic right there was not painted. And on Thundercracker, it is. It's silver like the rest of the hip section, which is, huge. I mean, I'll take that over kind of arm detailing and stuff like that. And that's kind of first things first for me in terms of getting that piece painted to blend with the rest of the midsection. They did that, so thank you very much. You know, next step would be adding some of these other detailings that Skywarp has. So it's always a balance. It's like if I could put the two figures together, you'd have the best paint app of all the Seekers. But it seems like Takara just can't put it all on one figure for whatever reason. And why not go ahead and do the back shot? Again, the only thing is Skywarp, they're kind of hidden in bot mode, but he's got the Decepticon logos there in the back, which Thundercracker does not. And these wing accents came over kind of the front and the back, and T-Cracker does not have those accents. Okay, so that's Thundercracker in bot mode. I think I've shown you about everything there is to show and pointed out whatever I could in terms of what I'm seeing unique about this guy, mainly from paint app perspective, because we know it's just the same MP-11 mold. So I'm going to go ahead and transform him. Then we'll check him out in alt mode. I'm not going to video the transformation. This mold's well toured, so if you're looking for transformation tips, you know, there should be plenty of other videos out there to help you out with that. Be right back in jet mode. So we're back, and here's Thundercracker in jet mode. And we'll give you a few angles here, just kind of rotate him around. There he is, front on. You've got the black nose cone. As usual, the front opens up here. They've got the radar device painted silver in there. One thing you will notice about the Decepticon logos, and I'm giving you another close-up here, is they're really sharp. I mean, Skywarp just had purple stamped kind of Decepticon logos, and Thundercrackers look like, you know, the old school G1 stickers. Right? It's like a silver outline in the purple Decepticon face on the inside. You see that there on the nose, and it's on the wings as well. So the Decepticon logos are, you know, another level up from what we saw with the Skywarp figure. So here he is straight across from the left side. Again, you can see the wheels are down there. I will say that front wheel continues to be a pain in the butt to get down, so that hasn't changed. Here you got a back view with the focus on the afterburners there. Here I've just swapped the focus so you can look down the back of the plane a little bit. And the right side, just to take you all the way around the tour here at kind of ground level view. And then we'll look at the top and the bottom. And here's the top side view. And this is probably the view that shows him the best in terms of his aesthetic look. You can see the light blue there contrasting with the kind of black nose cone, gunmetal gray rocket engines in the rear. You see the pinstriping on the wings. And then again, those Decepticon logos, right? The silver and purple stamps there on the wings and the nose really look sharp. And he's got those four, you know, those would kind of come and go in the cartoon. Of course, nothing was ever consistent in G1 Transformers, but they went ahead and did it and gave him the gray kind of accents on the back, which I think is, you know, pretty cool. For the few episodes, you actually probably saw that. But I like how they bring those things in and put them into the toy. So let me just show you the underside of the jet here real quick. I'm holding them up so I don't bend the tail fins. But there's nothing special underneath, right? I mean, MP-11 mold isn't great from this angle. It's kind of thick when all the arms try to come together there with the chest and just hide away. So that doesn't look great in alt mode. But there's nothing going on here that, you know, isn't a consistent sacrifice that we've had with the mold through its various iterations. And I'll just do a quick zip over here at the top, just holding the camera so you can get a closer look. So that's MP-11, guys. And what I will say, just as I haven't transformed the mold in a while, just really tight coming together. All the tabs fitting in perfect, everything just comes together beautifully and snug in the transformation. So that was nice with the figure. And quality overall, you know, very good. You got the sprue marks there, but you know, we'll have to live with it. That's just part of the process. The paint, some nice trade-offs versus, say, the Skywarp figure. I like the Decepticon signs. I like the painted crotch piece. I like the painted rockets in the chest. Like, those things are huge upgrades over the Skywarp figure. Love the color blue. Love the accents on the back there with the gray there. Happy they did that too. And it looks good. You know, you got the orange window, the black cone. You know, we can debate that, but I think it looks good. And what can I say, right? I mean, Takara's pretty much got us by the balls. So this is our Thundercracker. I think they did a nice job with it. I still hate the price that they're $200. I don't know how or why they cost that much. But again, we're kind of at their mercy and need to do what we need to do to get our seekers lined up. I'll see you next time, guys.